Hello again. How are you? Thought I would record more. Um, if you saw my video the other day, then you know it worked. I was able to upload it on YouTube. It didn't take too long. Of course, that was like a 4-minute video. So now we're gonna try something a little longer. I'm gonna keep trying to look at the camera, but ooh, I'm not used to it. Alright, I'm not used to recording on my phone. I know the sound quality is probably not the same, video quality is definitely not the same, but bear with me. So, I am going to post this to both channels again, Life with Migraines and Sage's Silver Serenity. I feel like that ceiling fan is such a distraction right now. Okay. I don't have a tripod for my phone. I have 2 tripods. I have like a small tabletop tripod, and then I have, I was able to get like a floor, like, 55-inch or something tripod, but I don't have an attachment for either one of them for the cell phone. So, because I never planned to use my cell phone to record, so I didn't get that. Tree behind me looks awful. See that? See that? That is because Ashy destroys it. Yeah, we've just given up all hope on it actually looking good, so anyway, alright, let me give you a little more in-depth update, okay? For those of you on my pagan channel, you probably haven't heard that much about this. It's mainly been on my Life with Migraines channel that I've talked about this, so I'm going to give like a summary of the backstory, so that I don't bore the people who have already heard this, but so that the rest of you at least have an idea of what's going on. So, real quick, I have had chronic migraines for about the last 4 years or so. 3.5 years, something like that. It feels like forever at this point. I had my first migraine when I was 18, but they didn't become chronic until my 30s, because I'm 36 now, so. They were pretty bad. I went to a neurologist. I've been to a couple of neurologists, family doctors, that sort of thing. All the usual chronic migraine treatments don't work. Magnesium supplement doesn't work. Butterbur supplement doesn't work. For those of you that know anything about medications used to treat migraines, Topamax doesn't work. Nortriptyline doesn't work. I tried 3 different beta blockers because all of those can help with migraines. I tried atenolol, propanolol, and metoprolol. I think is how you say it. I'm actually still on metoprolol because I also have tachycardia, sinus tachycardia with my heart. That developed 2 years ago? A year ago? 2 years ago? No, it developed last year. Okay, so it's been just over a year that the tachycardia developed. About 1.5 years actually. Basically, without the metoprolol, my heart rate will be like 95 to 120, just resting, just sitting here, not doing anything. So that keeps me at more of a normal heart rate. Nothing was found to necessarily be wrong with my heart. So, we're treating the symptom, not the cause, that sort of thing. Anyway, didn't help with my migraines though, the metoprolol. I tried Botox for migraines. That didn't help. There isn't a consensus on how many sessions of that it takes. Usually when you're getting Botox for migraines, each session is about 3 months apart, 12 weeks or so. And I've read online anywhere from 1 session to 4 sessions is what it takes to actually see results. My neurologist told me 2 sessions. He did tell me that some people do get results after 1 session. And I have read, firsthand accounts from people who say that. I didn't get relief from the first or second session, so my neurologist decided to stop at that point. My hair is bothering the crap out of me. Sorry. So nothing worked. My migraines actually became more frequent. Last year, for the year of 2016, I missed 36 days of work, and I only had 18 paid days to use. So I had 18 unpaid days last week. Or last year. The vast majority of them were migraine related. One time I did get sick and missed like 3 days for being sick. I like a cold. Colds knocked me out. I don't get them often, thank goodness, because they're awful for me. Like my husband can still go to work on a cold, but part of that's because he can take a decongestant and I can't. Decongestants mess with my heart. So I can't really take any medication when I have a cold, other than like pain medication. But anyway, sidetrack. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this short. I'm not doing very well, am I? I tend to ramble occasionally. Sorry. Anyway, I missed so much work last year, and it hurt my job. I was on FMLA for it, so my work, wasn't holding the absences against me for attendance, but like I needed to be at work. I was a team leader. Like every time I missed, someone else had to step in and handle my team for me while I was gone, and then things weren't kept consistent, and there's not a lot of jobs where you can miss that many days and not have some sort of consequences. And the 36 days, that's only full days that weren't made up. That doesn't count half days, or like going home 2 hours early because a migraine hit or something like that. It doesn't count any of that. It also doesn't count the times that, maybe I called in on Wednesday and then my boss and I arranged for me to work Saturday to make it up. It doesn't count any of that either. And that happened multiple times, quite a few times. Especially anytime I didn't have paid time off to cover it, we would try to find other options so I could still be paid, like making the time up. So it doesn't count any of that. Those are just the days, full days that I missed and did not make up. So it was actually quite a bit more than that. By the end of the year, 2016, my migraines were getting so bad. I had had my first Botox session at this point. My second one was scheduled for January of 2017. My neurologist and I decided to put me on a short-term disability leave from work. Hi, Ashy. It's visiting. Just don't bump the camera, because it's very delicately balanced right now for the phone, and it will fall. Like, there you go. Okay. Hi, baby. Oh, my baby. He's giving me kisses. Mwah. So, we decided to do a short-term disability leave starting mid-December. It would go about 6 weeks. Basically give time for the second round of Botox, which was supposed to be my miracle, to work, and that didn't happen. So I have not worked in almost a year, mid-December. I stayed on short-term disability for 6 months, so until June. It was hard. I had to fight for it a lot. You can hear about things like that if you go back to some of my life with migraine videos from earlier in the year, like March, April, May, June, those months. What do you... What is this? So, yeah, I had to fight for it a lot. They would basically only approve me like a month at a time. It is an itchy ear, apparently. They paid me weekly, but then a lot of times... But nobody wants to see your butt. No, nobody wants to see your butt. Okay. But a lot of times I'd have to fight for it. Like, if I was approved through, I don't know, February 15th. Then when that day came up, a whole bunch of paperwork would have to be submitted again, and it would take them like 4 weeks to decide they were going to pay me again. They'd give me the back pay, but that was 4 weeks without pay. So a lot of stuff like that happened. The longest I went during short-term disability was 6 weeks without pay. That was annoying. So mid-June came up when short-term disability would end because it was maximum 6 months, and then transition to long-term disability. Long-term disability denied me the first time though. I had to file an appeal. Now bear in mind, what I'm talking about with short-term disability and long-term disability, this is through my employer. I'm not talking about the government Social Security disability. That's a separate thing, and I'll get to that in a minute. I'm talking about through my work. So, long-term disability denied me. I appealed it, where they actually send your file out to like third-party, non-biased, supposedly doctors. They did approve me based on those doctors' recommendations. But it was 4 months of me not being paid. 4 months. And I've explained before, my husband's income is not enough. It's not enough for our bills. Neither one of us made enough individually for our bills to pay all of them. So we've been hurting bad, just trying to keep food in the house and electricity on. And we lost internet at one point. Our cell phones were turned off at one point. Our car was up for repossession. It never got repossessed before we were able to catch it up. Once I got the back pay, I did get 4 months of back pay in one check, which was my first check. That was just about a month ago now. I get paid monthly on long-term disability now. For November, I'll be paid in about 4 days, hopefully. But it's been hard because I went 4 months without pay, and like I said, we didn't have the money to pay my bills. Last year alone cost us a good $5,000 between me missing time from work, doctor's visits, prescriptions. It's actually probably more than that. That's a pretty low estimate. It's probably closer to like $7,000. So our income was reduced last year, just looking at it that way. Prescriptions and doctors and ER visits and time missed from work that wasn't paid. So we already went into 2017 not in the best state, and then on disability I was getting 60% of my income, so my income had been reduced by 40%. We did make it the first 6 months on short term though. We had a few issues here and there, but we made it. But then going 4 months without income, waiting on long term to approve me on the appeal was awful. We almost got evicted. Like the last month that we couldn't pay was September rent. We didn't pay it till I got my check mid-October. And the apartments were great in working with us. They actually didn't file for eviction on September rent until like October 11th. Of course, it included October then too. And those of you that have been behind before, you'll know exactly what I mean when I say it is so fucking hard to catch up. Those of you that haven't been behind before might think it's not that bad. If you had issues for 4 months paying bills, but then you get 4 months of back pay, that should equal out. You can catch up, right? But that's not the case. Late fees, overdraft fees, if your checking account went in the hole at all, and then all kinds of other fees. So like when I got my 4 months of back pay in October, I had to pay September rent and October rent, so I already had to pay double. Both months' rent had an $88 late fee, so that was another $176. Did I do that math right in my head? I don't know. Almost $200 in late fees. Plus, eviction was filed, so I had to pay the eviction filing fee, which was $411, and then I had to pay another $50 for the apartments to file to stop the eviction. So we're talking normally my rent with everything added onto it, water and trash and all of that crap, is normally about $930. So 2 months would have been about $1,860, and instead it was more like $2,500 that we had to pay. I think it was like $2,470 something, if I remember right. So just round up to $2,500 for ease. So we paid a hell of a lot more than we normally would have. So while yes, I got 4 months of back pay at once, I had to pay more than 4 months worth of the bills, if that makes sense, because I had late fees and overdraft fees and eviction fees and all of this shit. And it sucks. So we're still very tight. I've only received that first check. The second check, like I said, should be direct deposited on the 18th. But, we had to prioritize what to pay. So our phones are back on. That's why I have data. That's why I'm able to record and upload this using my phone. But we don't have internet at home. So, like, my computer has no internet. I don't have Wi-Fi at home. I have to use data, which is slower than Wi-Fi. But, we're dealing with it. At least we have phones. We can contact people if need be. We can still use the internet to do things. We just have to do it on our phones. Because the internet really is almost a necessity nowadays. It's how I check my bank account. It's how I pay most of my bills. It's how, look up addresses, like all kinds of stuff. Like, you kind of need the internet. So we have it on our phones with data, just not on our computers. So things are still incredibly tight. Very little food in the house right now. Like, very, very, very little food in the house right now. Getting close to being out. Like, making it the next 4 days is going to be rough. We may just not have food for a day or two of that. And I know some of you might be thinking go to a local food pantry. I forgot to mention something. 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, my husband left work, and we only have one car between us. We have just one car. My husband left work at like 11 o'clock at night and was going through, he works at a grocery store in a shopping center. It's a big shopping center that has like a Walmart in it and a whole bunch of other shit. And coming through the parking lots to get to the side street by the shopping center to come home, he ran over something with both the front and back tire on the same side of the car. Both tires flat. Completely flat. So I do have roadside assistance. My Mazda actually came with roadside assistance for like 2 years. When we bought it last year after our previous car was totaled when someone rear-ended me, which did not help my migraines, by the way. So we were able to get it towed. The tow truck driver just towed it to the nearest Mazda dealer. Didn't really give us an option, so it wasn't towed to the dealer we bought it at. It was towed to a different one. But I didn't have the money to pay for that. Like, I didn't have the money. The tires couldn't be patched, and they need new tires. Labor, mount, balance, all of that stuff. So my car is still at the dealership. The service manager that has it is being nice enough to not charge me storage fees. Normally they charge storage fees for holding a car. They charge like $25 a day, but they're not charging me that. And basically I have to wait until I get paid on the 18th. And then I can pay for the work. They've already done the work for me. But then I can pay for the work. And luckily they have they call it a shuttle service, but really it's just a driver can pick you up. Luckily they have that where they can come pick me up and bring me to the dealership so I can get my car. But so we don't have a car. So I couldn't even go to like a food pantry to help us if I wanted to. Which is not a bad idea to go to one. It's just, I don't have a car. And public transportation costs money. And we literally have, like, seriously, this hair is driving me crazy. I need to go take a shower just to, like, reset my hair. Anyway, we literally have no money right now. Like, I mean literally zero. That's why we have no food. We can't buy any food right now. So that's where we're at right now. I still have a lot of hope for the future because I do have monthly income now. It's going to take work to catch shit up, and it's going to be hard. And those of you that have ever been in similar situations, that have ever been behind on bills, you're going to understand that. Catching up is incredibly difficult. So that's where I'm at. That's more explanation for why I haven't been around. The first video I did a couple days ago, I did a really short one because I didn't know how easy it was going to be for me to upload it using the data on my phone. I still don't know how difficult this one's going to be. It's at 20 minutes right now, so it's going to be quite a bit more work than the 4-minute one was. We'll see. If you're watching it, it worked. Trying to stay positive, keep hope, and all of that. Thank you for watching. I wish you all the best. I appreciate you for being here. And I will see you in the next video, whenever the hell that will be. So, bye.